Hi, Cancer rising sign. Here is your weekly forecast starting on the 23rd of February until 1st of March. So, welcome, March. I'm curious to hear how the eclipse season has been affecting you. Obviously, that took place last week. So, do let me know in the chat box below. And firstly, let me invite you to listen to the general forecasts because I'm giving you the exact degrees where these positions are taking place, and you need to understand that certain aspects might be affecting you more rather than the others. It depends on your natal chart and the degree placement of certain planets. So to give you an example, for example, Mercury goes retrograde on 22-degree Pisces, meaning that it's going to be affecting you if you have got anything on 22 degrees. So, but the very first stop is we've got Atlantis entering Pisces this week, which is actually your ninth house, and alongside with Niobe. So the ninth house is the house of belief. So this might be suggesting that you are mourning an old worldview. You might be replacing a dogma with certain type of more of a direct experience. I think the series Chiron conjunction in your 10th house heals a wound related to your professional image. Or it is about you accepting that you have to be in a leadership position somehow. But there could be a bit of a sudden financial snap as well, especially, this is telling you that don't panic buy or sell, for example, because things can actually turn around. But let's just break down exactly what is happening. You have got a Sun and North Node conjunction happening in Pisces. It's actually happening on Taurus Dwat. And I can imagine that you have got this sudden urge to travel or to sign up for a course. And speaking about course, I've got the mentorship program right now on half price the first month if you would like to test how my teaching style is. And then you can choose certain type of webinars and so forth. But going back to that sudden urge to sign up for a course, because it's about you stirring towards your soul's direction. And with the Gemini Dwad, that's about, let's say you buy a specific book or a specific teacher pops up in your life, and then they're giving you the information that you need. Now, I can imagine that you realize that there are certain type of long-held belief system that kind of became a stone, and you need to be melting that away. And maybe that is connected to somehow that you are not meant to be a leader, you are meant to be suffering, you are not meant to be a writer, for example, and so on. And I think that Ceres Chiron conjunction is really asking you to take a chance, to take a risk, to put yourself out there, to kind of take on a philosophy that you might be unfamiliar and a little bit scary, but stepping towards a better future creates a better self-esteem as well for you. Also, we've got Venus in your ninth house making a sextile to Juno in your seventh house. And really, I can imagine that you are traveling, for example, and then you are bumping into a romantic connection, and it can feel like super fated as well. Or in existing relationship, you guys might commit to a long-term vision, a long-term belief system. So we agree on something. Yes, this is how we're gonna be doing this from now on. These are legal houses as well, so there could be a contractual agreement signed, for example, or a legal matter can be resolved. With Pisces, it would be a bit of compassion, and with Capricorn, with a bit of integrity. Also, we've got that Ceres and Chiron conjunction, which I find quite prominent actually, because of course it's angular for you. But maybe you have got that fear of not being seen or not being enough or not doing necessarily a good job. So, but maybe you have been stuck in a job that doesn't feel too good. And this is about having to make that brave professional move. Or maybe you mentor someone, for example, in your workplace, because series is kind of like that mother in egg type. It's about giving them the wisdom. I can even imagine that you redefine what success means to you. How much success connects to status, or how much does it connect to the ability to be able to take care of yourself? And maybe you even change the way you lead others as well. Also, we've got that Mars-Uranus square, which is triggering your eighth and 11th house. And that's a shock factor here. So there could be a shock regarding shared resources, a text, documents, for example, and that might be affecting your long-term goals, your dreams. I can imagine a argument with a friend of yours over money, or you might suddenly cut ties with a financial partner, or suddenly you just want to take out your investments because it feels unstable, a little bit more volatile. Or even an intimate connection can become a little bit more unpredictable. So it might feel like that the boundaries within a partnership is getting tested. Niobe, like I said, enters your ninth house this week, and this is about you being proud of having a mentor, or being a great mentor, or maybe you are proud of your educational credentials. Or maybe you are kind of like having a bit of a grief over not finishing certain type of studies. But I would also say that if we have got a dogmatic behavior or dogmatic ideas, belief systems, that those are going to be challenged as well. It's very interesting because Niobe is very proud and Pisces is very humble. So we're gonna have to find a kind of like the golden mean here, between the pride and the humble wonder. And I believe that you might become that true seeker again. Maybe you don't want to be right all the time. It's allowed to be wrong as well because we are all humans and we can make mistakes. Now we've got the out of bound moon happening, and that starts in your 11th house and actually it finishes in your first house. So this is a good 5 day period while the moon is out of bound, and there could be some disruptions happening in your social circle. So you can have an argument with a friend of yours, or I can also imagine that you, like I said, you are working towards a project, but maybe it gets disrupted by some financial problems. But the moon shifts on the 25th into your 12th house, and the subconscious is screaming there. You might be hearing voices, you might be having these intuitive downloads, you might be picking up on other people's thoughts, reading their minds. And then finally, the moon moves into your first house, and the moon is going to be at home, but it's a bit wild. So you can be incredibly sensitive, you can become incredibly protective as well, and surely you're going to feel everything on 200% kind of volume. So just be mindful about that. So this week for me, one more other thing with Moon being out of bound, it's kind of finishing on Jupiter. And I think this is trying to really boost your confidence. And it wants to make you realize that, yes, I'm allowed to publish, I'm allowed to be a leader, I'm allowed to be changing jobs as well. But there's a lot of emotional sensitivity, a lot of psychic abilities going on for you this week. This is about heightened sensitivity. So you will feel the burden of people. You will feel what is going on in the world. The intuitions are trying to guide you towards something better, but it can make you very emotionally reactive as well. And that's why there is a danger zone of falling out with people. Also, this could actually allow you to make emotional connections with others. So therefore, you can attract a new relationship, especially with Venus and Juno sextile, for example. Or you become extremely kind of charming and maybe you have got ways of talking yourself out of a scenario. You can convince people as well about that you are right, you are wrong about something, and so forth. But you can practice a lot of diplomacy here as well. So this could be ideal for a job change. I can also imagine that if there are certain type of disputes, then actually you are able to speak from your heart, and then it can lead to, a kind of like a settlement type of scenario. So, Kensa, have a great week and do let me know how the eclipse season has been working for you. Good luck, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.